Well, hello, folks. It's Jamie Oikle from runningrestaurants.com, where we give you the tips, tools, and techniques you need to run a more profitable and successful restaurant. Today, we've got another great one question with episode for you. Here we go. All right, we are back with another one question with episode, and I really love this topic, and I'm looking forward to getting some insights on it. I got my man, Rockin' Roger Bodwin, with me from Restaurant Rockstars, and we are going to talk about open book management, the idea of taking your staff and opening the books and telling them where the money goes and why it's important. And Roger did this at his place, so he's going to tell some stories that really will enlighten folks on that. So what do you got, Roger? What do you think?
Well, it all started in the beginning, I guess, when I opened my first place. I kind of realized that the staff are sort of resentful because we had a successful restaurant pretty much from the start for a variety of reasons, but people just didn't get the fact that we had costs and expenses. They thought every time we sold a $10 pizza, a $15 steak, the money went right into my pocket, and Roger's getting rich and we're doing all the work, you know? And I had to shift that thinking really quickly because it wasn't going to do my customers any favors. They weren't going to be great ambassadors for my business, and they weren't going to have the right approach to the job if they really thought that, you know, we weren't paying them well, which we did. We paid them, you know, a comparable wage to what their experiences were in the restaurant industry at that time. But we had recognition and rewards, and all this kind of came full circle to open the books because, you know, every time, if people just don't really care and they're just there for the paycheck and they have the wrong attitude, it's like they don't care. They drop a plate on the floor and it smashes. Okay, we'll clean it up. No big deal. But they don't realize that that plate might have cost $7 to the restaurant, and that profit just came off the next dish you served a customer every time something breaks. And yes, accidents do happen. But once you teach them every time something like that breaks, it's $7, or when the dishwasher breaks down, it could be a $500 repair bill. And, you know, we've got payroll and we've got utilities and we've got insurances and we got cost of goods. And it's like there's all these expenses. So we opened the books to these people, and we started with a whiteboard, very, very basic. And I just did a basic profit and loss statement saying, okay, here are our sales last week. We sold X and such. And then these are our expenses against those sales. And here's our net profit at the end of the week. And look at, you can see that I'm not getting rich. We're not making a ton of money here, and it's up to you. And if we want to have a really successful place, we have to tackle every one of these line items and make sure that our expenses are minimized and that we come up with marketing programs and profit building programs that maximize sales and profits. And that's the way you build a successful restaurant. And by the way, we're going to have a program that recognizes and rewards you guys for outstanding performance and helping us increase our profits. So it really started there. That was the beginning of it.
Yeah, I want to ask you one follow-up question. How wide did their eyes go when they saw the final bottom line?
Well, you know, numbers aren't everyone's specialty. Some people love numbers, some people hate numbers, but, you know, we made it as simple as possible, but the concepts remained clear. And once they saw, hey, you know, maybe our sales last week were $10,000, and I'm just throwing this out randomly, but our expenses were like $8,000, and we barely had a profit here. The margin really is that slim. They suddenly say, wow, we can make a difference, and we're going to be rewarded for making that difference. And that was a team building exercise that built what I call the dream team. That was just one thing we did. And then we took it to the next level, and then we wanted to empower our staff to treat everything as if they had to pay for it, to think like an owner, to see what the customer sees before they see it. And we created these like little battle zones, you might call them. So if you were a front of house person, this is your zone A. And if you're a server, that's your zone B. And if you're a line person behind the line in the kitchen, that's zone D. And it's like you're in charge of policing all these thousands of details within that area so that you don't have to look at, you can still look at the big picture, and we encourage that. But when suddenly you've got all these employees with their eyes wide open saying, oh, that table's wobbling. I don't want my customer in my section to sit there and have the table wobble. Or, oh, that light bulb is burned out in my section. I'm going to fix that. So it's like anything that they could fix, they were empowered to do so before the customer saw it. And if anything was a hazard or something they couldn't take care of, they immediately brought it to my attention or a manager's, and we fixed it immediately. And we never had negative impressions. Customers came in and they got the great wow factor experience because we had a lot of employees. We had 52 people on the payroll every single week. Not all working the same day, of course, but suddenly you got 52 sets of eyes seeing what the customer sees from the parking lot right throughout the restaurant. We call them 12 key guest contact points. And we never had negative impressions. Everything was great because we had so many people thinking like an owner. And that was part of that team building and open book piece that is so powerful. I recommend it to any operator.
I love it, brother. I absolutely love that. And so if you are a restaurant operator and you are experiencing results that aren't meeting your expectations, go ahead and go through this exercise of taking your staff through the profit and loss numbers. And you're going to think, oh man, I'm letting them in on the secret sauce, but it's going to have the exact opposite effect that Roger's talking about. They're going to become engaged in the business, knowing that they can make a difference by contributing X and Y and Z to the bottom line and how it plays into effect. So I think it's a big deal. I think this is a great topic. This was a one question with episode talking about open book management with Rockin' Roger Boban from Restaurant Rockstars. Those guys are at restaurantrockstars.com. Check them out. Lots of great content there. For more tips on restaurant operations, including marketing, service, and more, you can go to runningrestaurants.com. We'll see you next time.